I would love to have you both introduce yourselves. Laura, if we could start with you.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Happy to be here. I'm Laura Shanley, and I have spent the last almost, 19 years in the employee engagement, employee communications, employee experience space. And specifically in the last 5 years, I've really been focused on employee recognition. And so that's been a really fulfilling experience. And it's really fun to see companies build their culture of recognition. And so I've worked with several companies to develop, create, implement, transform recognition programs. And that's what I'm currently doing, is doing consulting in this space.
Thank you for that introduction. Christy, how about yourself? Would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure, and so glad to be here. I have an extensive career in employee engagement and experience and recognition. I like to think of myself as kind of a Willy Wonka of the employee experience, really thinking about ways you can build culture and delight people and make them feel seen and heard and valued in terms of who they are outside of their work as well. And so I've been so fortunate to partner with Laura on culture initiatives, communication initiatives, global initiatives to really support the employee experience. And I do think so much of the secret of that experience is that recognition piece. And I'm really excited to talk about how to weave that recognition into every part of the employee journey today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction. What you mentioned about the employee journey encompassing things outside of the workplace, how might an HR leader or a leader address that within the workplace? Because you can't control everything, and nor should you try, but what are some ways you can address that?
Yeah, I think as we look at some of the thought leaders today, like when people listen to Brene Brown and she talks about vulnerability and that connection and seeing the whole person. And so I think the most successful managers that I've seen and I've worked for have understood that if there are milestones that I'm going through as an employee, if I'm going through a family change or a family loss or a time where I really want to grow my career or work on a specific skill, if my manager is walking with me through those changes, through those times in my life, and understands how to best coach me and help me be the best person that I am in that environment, that just breeds so much loyalty across my journey. And I would say even the best managers would help your employees or get a job outside of your department, even outside of your company. If you're truly interested in the development of someone's career and who they are as a whole person, it's not just about the task that they're in at this moment. And that pays dividends. We're all moving so quickly. We're moving to different jobs, different companies. Just Laura and I have worked together in so many different incarnations, right? And so keeping those relationships across your career benefits you as a person and as a leader as you move across your own career.
Laura, what about you? What would you add to that? How can leaders recognize during recruitment?
Well, I think about it as, in the context of recognition and building the culture of recognition, right? So if you're doing that inside of your company, and those employees are having a good experience, and to your point, oftentimes the best employees come from referrals, right? So you want employees to be talking about your company, to be referring their friends. But a tangible example of that is the way that your employees can present that culture to those outside of your company. So I recently had an experience where I went and I had a new doctor, and she was lovely. And I told 3 people how lovely this new doctor was. And then I was even inclined to go, onto their Google and write a nice review for them. And so, because of that culture that they're building internally, it's extending, right? And now I'm doing the work for them. I'm writing a great review for them.
I want to give you each, Laura and Christy, an opportunity to have some last words about recognition and about engagement and how it can really impact culture, or whatever you might say about that to the people here on the webinar to help them in their own work. Christy, we'll start with you.
Sure. I would say it's hard to know where all of you are on your journey of either tuning up a recognition program or looking at launching one or making it better. But I think one thing that's really crucial is whoever you have in that role, the team you have in that role, has to be true believers. I think what's made Laura and me so successful in this program is that we deeply believe in recognition. We practice it. We've seen how transformative it is, and we have a lot of energy around that. So as you think about who to put on the team to launch a program like Awardco or launch a recognition program and think about all of the pieces of it, choose someone who really is willing to be at the front of the line and walk the walk.
When it comes to recognition, you will run into naysayers, right? You'll run into people that doesn't really matter. I don't need to recognize people for just doing their job, and this is fluffy stuff. But it's when you have the data, you have this data that Bronson shared. It's not fluffy, right? It really does make an impact. It helps people be more engaged with the company, feel a sense of belonging with the company. There is really a lot of value in doing recognition well. So, and plus it can just be a lot of fun. I mean, when I'm working in a recognition space, it just feels like you get to be, I don't know, the fairy godmother or something. People give really positive feedback about how impactful it is for them to receive that recognition.